Well, hello everybody and welcome to Synergy Theater. My name is Ken Adams. I am the artistic director of Synergy Theater, and it is an absolute pleasure to welcome you here today. Let's bring up the blue sky because that means tonight it is time for the life and adventures of Peppermint Jones. And I will take one moment just to let everybody know that Synergy Theater performs full-length improvised shows. So everything you see today is going to be absolutely improvised, all based on your suggestions. When we are in the real world, we perform at the beautiful Leisure Center for the Performing Arts in Walnut Creek, California. But we are not in the real world right now, are we? No, we are all home because there's a pandemic going on, but that's okay because Synergy Theater has moved its entire operations online, and we are delighted to be bringing you a full slate of improvised theater online via YouTube and Facebook. So right now you are watching us hopefully either on YouTube or Facebook. And we would love for you to be able to interact with us. So if you would like to interact with us via chat in order to give us suggestions to get our show started today, then we would love for you to do that via YouTube. So you got to go to your YouTube channel and log in so that you could chat with us. If you're watching us on Facebook, we might be able to see your chats on Facebook as well, but that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge for us. So we'll definitely see you if you're out there on YouTube, but go ahead, why not? Give it a shot on Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook, then just sit back and watch and enjoy the show. In fact, if you don't want to log into anything, you could just sit back and enjoy the show. But if you do want to chat, go over and log into YouTube. Synergy Theater is here every Thursday at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Daylight Time and Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Daylight Time with a brand new improvised show. We also teach improv classes. And if you might be interested in checking out some improv classes, go to synergytheater.com. That's where you can learn about all of our programming and all of our classes. All right, tonight it is time for the life and adventures of Peppermint Jones. Hello, Mike Valencia. Thank you for joining us. But now the real star of the moment is Valerie Regalia, my co-star tonight. Valerie, come on screen. Hello, Valerie. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great, Ken. Thanks.
All right. So it is a joy to see you there. I can't wait to start this show with you. And we are going to start off with asking the audience for some suggestions. Again, if you want to offer one, go ahead and type it into the YouTube chat over there. And here we go. The first thing that we are going to need is an occupation somewhere along the road tonight. This occupation will become a part of the show. So everybody go ahead right now and type in some occupations. We'll see the couple of first ones that pop up and we'll choose one of your suggestions. After the occupation, we are going to ask you for a location. So you can start thinking about a location. Okay, I see a skunk Skinner. I say we go with a skunk Skinner because I never met anyone who is a real skunk Skinner, and that seems like a great place to start. All right, the next one is a location. So go ahead and put a location up there. And I see right off the bat, I see a theater. And that sounds like kind of a fun location. I don't think any of our adventures have taken us into a theater yet. So let's take a theater as the location. Next thing we're going to ask you for is an object, any type of innocuous object at all, and that object will somehow feature into our show tonight. Go ahead and just put up the object there. Let's see. All right, a bull ring. I am looking at a bull ring. So we will have a bull ring and a skunk Skinner. This is not a show for the PETA members amongst us tonight, is it? All right, last suggestion. And this one is to complete the title of our show tonight. Peppermint Jones has many adventures, and he always gives them a name. Example, Peppermint Jones, The Life and Adventures of Peppermint Jones, adventure number 12, Peppermint Jones and the Mysterious House, or something like that. So I'm going to ask you to fill in the blank and give us our title for tonight's show. So here we go. The Life and Adventures of Peppermint Jones, episode 27, Peppermint Jones, and we'll give everybody a moment to come up with something that they could type in there. Valerie, how have you been preparing for our show tonight? What deep theater exercises have you been doing?
I worked.
Excellent job. All right, I see somebody has popped up with a suggestion right away, and that is Peppermint Jones and the Endless Song. What a beautiful poetic title. Peppermint Jones and the Endless Song. So that will be our title tonight. And that means we are ready to begin. During the course of the show, we're not going to ask you for any further suggestions. However, if you're watching along and you have an idea and you know what you would like to see happen, go ahead and offer it. Type it into the YouTube channel there, and we'll keep an eye on that as it scrolls up as we're performing tonight, and maybe we'll grab some stuff that comes along and put it into the show. No promises, but we will try our best. All right, my friends, Valerie, Regalia, why don't we send you off screen so that you can prepare and make your first entrance. I'm going to go away from you for just one moment, and then when I come back, it will be time for tonight's show. Thank you so much for being here. Please enjoy the life and adventures of Peppermint Jones. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Peppermint Jones, and I'm an older man now. Nowadays, what I like to do most of all is just come out here to this nice park and sit on this bench and look up at that beautiful blue sky and watch those leaves on the trees blow in the breeze. It's a calm day today. But I wasn't always this age, you know. I was a younger man. And back in the day when I was just a little sprig of maybe 18 or 19 years old, why, I had me all kinds of hair. And I had me a series of adventures. So many adventures that I gave them all a number and a title. And tonight, I would like to tell you about one of my favorite. Tonight, I'm gonna tell you the story of the life and adventures of Peppermint Jones, episode number 27. Peppermint Jones and the Endless Song. Well, it all started one night when I was feeling just tired of working on the farm so hard, and so I jumped in the pickup truck and I drove into the little town of Hudson Falls, where I lived with my mama. I went over to an old saloon that I used to like to hang out in, and I just sat down by a table in order to nurse me a drink. I didn't drink alcohol or nothing. I just drank me some tonic water. And no sooner did I sit down at the table than a stranger came into the bar. She was a woman that I had never seen before, and I kind of thought that I knew everybody in Hudson Falls. She looked like she was a big city woman with straight, shiny hair and a glowing complexion and a steely-eyed glaze, the kind you see in some of those TV movies or something. Well, I was thinking I don't have the nerve to invite her to sit down next to me, But I didn't have to invite her. She sat down right next to me, and boy, was I surprised to hear what she had to say.
I really need a drink.
Well, I'd be happy to buy you one.
Really? What do you recommend?
I'm drinking tonic water.
Oh, I think I'm going to need something a little stronger than that. Thank you.
So I raised my hand and I ordered the bartender to come on over, and she ordered a drink that I had never even heard of.
I'll have a belly flop, one shot up, and hold the lemonade, please.
Well, after the drink came and she started nursing it, she started telling me about how she ended up in Hudson Falls that night.
You know, I'm a big city woman. I grew up wanting to be an actress, and I finally broke that role. But then they send me down here to do the touring company. And now I get to perform in this lovely small town full of lots of great possibilities for an actress, I'm sure.
Wait a minute. I recognize your face from the poster now. You're going to be in that production of Hello Dolly that's coming to the Barn Playhouse.
That's right, Sonny boy. I am.
Well, I'm real pleased to meet you.
Thanks, kid. It's nice to meet you too. What do you do here?
I just live and work on the farm. I graduated high school a couple of summers ago.
So you're a high school graduate.
Well, sure I am. I've got my high school degree in animal agriculture.
Listen, we need somebody at the theater.
You mean like an actor? Oh, I'm too shy for that.
It's just a one-line role. Please, we're desperate. I really need this show to work.
Well, what's the line?
It's very simple. All you have to say is, the song goes on forever.
The song goes on forever. Well, I can say that, I suppose. Did someone drop out of your play?
Yeah, seems they've come down with something. I guess they drink the water here.
Huh. Well, I guess I could help out. I was so nervous. I didn't even expect to ever be in a play. And now here I was without even having to audition or anything. But I don't understand you. You look so sad about everything.
The person who dropped out was my partner, my boyfriend of a long time. And once he got ill, he decided to leave this town forever and leave me.
I guess that's part of the life of the glamorous actor, the seedy underbelly, as they call it.
It is indeed, kid. Listen, do this show with me tonight, but don't get messed up in the theater game.
Well, I promise you, I don't have any intention of becoming an actor or anything. My life is here on the farm.
Well, come by the theater in a couple of hours and we'll get you ready in your costume and everything.
I sure will. What's your name?
Felicity.
Felicity.
Yes, just Felicity. My agent told me I shouldn't have a last name.
And that was funny because Felicity kind of sounds like a happy name, but she didn't seem happy at all. Well, I watched her gulp down the rest of her belly flop, and then I promised that I'd see her at the theater later. I had to go home and change into my special shirt, you see. When I got home, Mama was in the kitchen like she always is, cooking up a big mess of something, and boy, did it smell delicious. Why, sometimes I thought I could spend my whole life just sitting around smelling the stuff that Mama cooks. And there she was, and I came right in the kitchen and just as happy as I could be. Hey, Mama, you're never going to guess what happened. That smells good.
Oh, Peppermint, I got my favorite sausage made for you tonight.
Well, you're gonna have to put them in one of them canvas bags that you keep old leftovers in and stick it in the freezer, because I'm not gonna be home for dinner tonight.
Not home for dinner? Well, that's the first time I've ever heard of that.
Mama, I've been invited to be in the play.
In the play?
You know, the play that they're doing over at the Barn Playhouse?
You, Peppermint? You, an actor?
Well, I'm gonna have a line to say. I'm filling in for someone. They call that an understudy.
Well, so I guess this is it, isn't it? You're gonna go off and become some big star, leave your mama here all alone to eat her sausage by herself.
Oh, Mama, don't be ridiculous. I'm just doing a favor for Felicity.
Who's Felicity?
Well, she's the woman I met at the bar.
Well, go ahead then. Take your sausage.
Mama, now you're being all kinds of crazy. I'm just gonna do this one night thing.
Oh, Peppermint, don't fool yourself. Look at you. Look at your beautiful face, your amazing flowing locks of hair. When they see you up on that stage, there's no way you're not gonna be going to Broadway in a week, Peppermint.
Mama, does this have something to do with what happened to Daddy?
Maybe. Yes.
I knew it had to have something to do with Daddy, 'cause Mama never cries unless it had something to do with Daddy.
Peppermint, I must tell you, I'm so sorry. I lied about your daddy. You see, he wasn't a salesman who came here, married me, and then died the instant that you were born. It turns out, well, I met this man, and he was amazing. He was here touring for some big Broadway show. Cats, it was. And you see, he had the longest tail of all the cats, and, well, he gave me you, and he left off into the big city because he was the most handsome actor man I'd ever seen in my life. I'm sorry, Peppermint. I'm sorry. But don't you go leave me like your pa did.
Oh, Mama, you're being all kinds of crazy. You know my life is here on the farm with you.
Is it, Peppermint?
I told you, Mama, I'm just going to go down to the theater, do a favor for a friend, be in the play, and then I'm coming back and I'll be shoveling manure to make you proud.
Oh, Peppermint. Look, you're made for bigger stuff. You weren't put on this earth to become a skunk skinner like all the rest of the folks down here. You were put on this earth to be a star, Peppermint, and to do
Mama, I am proud to grow up in Hudson Falls, the skunk skinning capital of the world.
Even if that was true, Peppermint, you still have to go. Someday, I know it. I've always known it ever since you were a little boy and you got on that kindergarten stage and you sang and they tried to get you off of the stage for 45 minutes and you wouldn't go because you knew you were better. Peppermint, I know you're going to be a big time thing and you can't stay here. Your past is part of you forever. Bring it with you where you go.
Mama, the reason I stayed on the stage so long that day was because I peed my pants and I was afraid to go anywhere.
Oh, I remember, Peppermint.
Now you listen, Mama. You put those sausages away and you keep them handy, because I'm going to be home soon enough and I'm going to want to eat them. Well, I could tell there was no talking to Mama anymore that night. Sometimes she gets like that, especially when it has to do with Pa. As I was walking to the theater, suddenly it dawned on me, Pa was alive? I mean, my whole life I had understood that Pa died shortly after I was born, but now, now that Ma's words were really sinking in, I didn't even know how I felt about that. Mama lied to me. Pa's still alive. Here I am, living my life like an orphan when I, I was so befuddled by my feelings that I didn't even realize that I had arrived at the theater. But I walked in and there was Felicity standing on the stage. I looked over at her. Oh, Felicity, I'm sorry. I just discovered something that's really sending me for a loop.
What is it?
Well, it has to do with my pa. You see, I thought he was dead, but he's not. He's alive.
Really? Well, what else do you know about him?
Just that he left my ma in order to go off and be an actor. He was bitten by the bug.
Oh, that's a familiar story.
Huh. Well, I tell you, I am more determined than ever I was before that I am not going to be bit. But just then, as I looked at those beautiful velvet curtains folded so lusciously and lavishly behind Felicity's glowing face and gleaming eyes, I was bitten by the bug. The whole 1,000-year history of theater and all its glory infected my veins, and suddenly I could never imagine being anywhere else. Felicity, is this what it means to be in the theater?
Yes, Peppermint. And it only gets better. This is the lowest of the low kind of regional theater. But trust me, when you get to that stage in the big city, you're going to never be able to give it up.
The big city? I've never ever been to the big city. But tell me about the theater there.
Oh, it's lovely. Peppermint, it's an old building with intricate designs molded into the walls. And there's a box office. It's not just a high school kid out front with a lockbox. And you walk in and it smells like old stale popcorn. And there are several drunk men wandering around, finding their way to their seats. Peppermint, you'll never be able to go back to regional theater after that.
Stop. You had me at several drunk men.
Peppermint, I'm excited to see how you do tonight, but you must know that if you do well, you might join us when we go to the big city.
I'm not even 100% sure. Is tonight just a rehearsal or is tonight the real play?
Tonight's the show, Peppermint.
Will you tell me again my line?
Yes, it's something along the lines of, that song is never ending.
Does it matter if I say it exactly right or can I just improvise?
Oh, we don't really like improvisation here, but listen, Peppermint, I have a feeling that you're an artistic genius. You do whatever feels right to you in the moment.
Well, I was so carried away by the feelings that I was being filled with that it blocked out all of my tumultuous feelings concerning my pa and my ma. And the only thing that existed for me now were those beautiful red folded curtains. We had a
Blaisdell,
quick, hello.
I am the director. Hello.
Oh my goodness. The director was a very intimidating woman. She had to be about 6 feet 3 inches tall. She looked down on the world, it seemed, from the bridge of that sharp nose of hers, and she kept her head straight on her shoulders by wrapping a scarf around it tighter than anyone ever thought a human being could take. Everything she said sounded kind of like if you took a metal piece of rusted pipe and you scraped it against a brick.
Listen, you better do a great job in tonight's show, because we have big things planned for this performance.
I'm gonna do my best.
Well, that's good. Let me take a look at you.
I stood up as straight as I could.
Why, you're perfect. Listen, you're not just going to play the busboy this time, saying that line about the song. As it turns out, we need a leading man.
A leading man, but I don't know any of the lines.
It's okay, just wing it.
I didn't know what was happening, but before I had the chance to ask any more questions, a feeble little nerdy kind of stage manager type walked over to the director, and he was so trembling because I imagine he was afraid of her, and I don't blame him for being afraid. You should have seen how she answered him. He said,
The show is sold out, and it's gonna start in 10 minutes.
Well, she looked right down at him and she said,
Impossible! What do you mean this little town sold out 500 seats?
Well, he tried to explain.
Well, you see, the mayor and the other mayors of the entire county decided to use tonight as their big night out. So, you see...
Well, it seemed that she wasn't really interested in any kind of explanation at all, and then suddenly it became very loud and argumentative and violent.
Oh, what do you mean? Oh my God. Well, this show must go on. Everybody to their places now. You better learn your lines or just make them up. Whatever you have to do, because you're our leading man tonight.
Well, I couldn't believe what was happening, but I didn't have any time to give it a second thought, because before I knew what was going on, I was on stage, the spotlight shining in my eyes. I couldn't see anything. All I heard was the band strike up the notes, and something was flowing out of me. It was like my mind had traveled outside of my head, and it was looking at me down on the stage. I was singing, I was acting. I heard the audience hooting and hollering and cheering. And then, when the play was over and I came out to take my final bow, I looked into the audience and I saw the faces of hundreds of people looking at me with amazement in their eyes. I saw kids I went to school with. I saw the people who worked in the shops. I saw visitors from out of town. I saw the busload of nuns that we had to hold the curtain for because their bus was late. And when all of the glory faded away, I looked deep back in the audience, and there she was. There was Mama, sitting in the audience, crying. Mama?
Yeah, Peppermint! You're just like your mom!
Mama, I gotta leave.
I know. You're gonna be a big star, Peppermint.
Mama, I'm sorry. I promised you I never would leave, but I've been bitten by the bug.
Peppermint, I'm gonna miss you. You're gonna be great, Peppermint. I love you. And please do something for me when you go to the big city.
Anything, Mama, anything.
Find your pa and tell him about your existence.
He don't even know?
No! I'm sorry, he doesn't even know.
Mama, I promise you right here and now that I am going to find my pa and I'm going to let him know that I exist.
Yes, you let him know, Peppermint. You're a good boy.
Well, Mama and I hugged so long that the ushers had to throw us out, and they weren't too nice about it either. A week later, I found myself in New York City. Me and Felicity, we were in an old apartment that Felicity had found for me. And that was going to be my new apartment as I was preparing for my first role, should I be lucky enough to get it. Felicity had shown me all around. The bedroom was particularly nice.
What do you think?
I get to live here?
Yes, well, this is your bedroom, and your living room, and your dining room, and your kitchen, and there's a little bathroom on the corner there.
Well, I don't need nothing more than a little bathroom.
I didn't think you would.
Felicity, I don't know how to thank you.
You can thank me by getting the lead role in the next play. And you can also thank me by helping me.
Helping you how?
I want to find my ex, and I want him to know that I'm doing better off without him. And I was hoping you're such a good actor, Peppermint. Will you pretend to be my new boyfriend to make him jealous?
Well, sure, but if he ain't here, how's he gonna be jealous?
Well, he's here. He's in the big city.
Felicity, I will do that for you. I will find my pa for me. I will find your boyfriend and make him jealous for you because I owe you everything now. Thank you, Felicity.
Of course, Peppermint. Thank
Well,
you.
life turned into a series of whirlwind auditions. I went to one audition once, and I was behind this fella, and he was auditioning with a monologue that was so beautiful, I just stood off in the wings of the theater, and I watched him as he auditioned.
And today, beyond any other day, I come here to tell you about the death of a beautiful man, a sad man, and he is dead. Dead! Yes, cry. It is so sad because I loved him. He was my friend, and it is sad. So may we all gather here today to mourn the loss of a good man.
The next gal who came up to audition, she was doing a comic monologue.
Hey, well, how about airline food? Am I right? Pretty bad. I mean, I had some food last time I was on an airplane, and it didn't sit well. And neither did I.
That was just about the funniest thing I had ever heard. I was so nervous when it was my turn to audition. I didn't even know any monologues or anything. But once again, it was as if something larger than me passed through my body and flew out of my eyes and my nose and my ears and my mouth like a ray of sunshine or something. And before I knew it, this big, round, jolly old director had stopped me in the audition, walked right up, and said to me with a big smile on his face,
"You're perfect! I ain't never seen someone better for a role than you."
Well, the next couple of months of my life was kind of like one of those montages you see in those movies where you see a big map of the country and there's me appearing in all different kinds of plays and getting all different kinds of notices in the newspaper, and the little red line is going along the map to showing you all of the places where I performed. I became a big star, and one night I was sitting with you know who. I was sitting with Valerie, and we were in a real exclusive kind of bar. It was so colorful, it looked like the inside of a pinball machine. Now, by this time, I was rolling in the dough.
Hey, Peppermint.
Valerie.
Felicity.
Felicity! I'm sorry, Valerie is the lead in this play I'm rehearsing. She is gorgeous.
Just like me.
What's that?
I said, just like me.
Yeah.
Listen, Peppermint, I don't mean to spring this on you last minute, but my ex is gonna meet us here at the bar, and I've told him that you and I are moving in together, and that we're in a very serious relationship, and we're madly in love, and also that we spent 8 weeks in Cancun just making love on the beach. So will you play along?
Yeah. I promised you that I was gonna help you with that, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
And then I suddenly remembered I had made my mama some kind of promise too. But honestly, I couldn't even remember what that promise was. Hey,
What?
Felicity,
Yes.
I'm kind of a thing now.
Yes.
You see, part of my persona, as we call it in the theater, part of my persona is that I'm available. You see, that's what makes all the females out in my fan base come and see the shows, that unrealistic notion that somehow they might end up with me.
But you're not gonna help me?
Well, you understand, I have a reputation. If I let people think I have a relationship, that's going to affect my persona.
Well, fine. Fine. What am I supposed to do? Just tell him that I've been lying, that it's all been a complete fabrication, that I'm pathetic?
Well, I don't know, but why is that my problem now?
You're right. It's not your problem.
Now, look, Felicity, I'm not an ogre or nothing, but you have to understand. I mean, you haven't worked in a really long time.
I know. It's because this breakup has been killing me. You see, my ex, he's like this big time actor and director and producer. He's and kind of older, and he holds a lot of weight in this town. And ever since we broke up, I don't really have a shot in here anymore.
Well, you see, that's your problem, Felicity. You're letting your relationships get in the way of your career. If you didn't care about him anymore, you just go out and you find some other network. But you've allowed your heart to get snagged on the footlights, and you can't make your entrance.
Now, some of that is true, but also he's doing something wrong. He's keeping me from entering back into this industry. And I need help. I think he's just mad at me.
You know what, Felicity? I know that you're saying words, but what I'm hearing is yappata, yappata, yappata. I have moved on. And I'm sorry, but I advise you to move on too. Now, look, when I go on stage, do you know what I hear? I hear the music. I hear a song that started the first time I walked into a theater and is still playing to this day, because that's what theater has given me. It has given me a never-ending song, and I'm gonna sing that song and not let anybody turn my music off.
Well, who was there for you? Who brought you into the theater from the first place, huh? Who saw in you a high school education and an attractive face and an ability to be on a stage? Who? I helped you. You don't have to pretend to be my boyfriend. But it would be great if you could help me and show me some friendship, Peppermint.
Felicity, there is no business like show business. The important words in that saying is business. Now, I'm sorry, Felicity, but I have got to pursue my song. And right now, it is a solo and not a duet. And I just turned away from her and I walked out of that bar. I didn't even take a moment to look back to see what she was looking like, because at the moment, I didn't have any feelings at all for nothing except the drive, except the passion, except the pull of the limelight and the grease paint. Well, my career just got better and better. I got more and more roles and more notices until one day when I was sitting in the dressing room taking my wig and makeup off after having performed in King Lear. Now, mind you, I was only 23 years old at the time, the youngest man to ever perform King Lear in a national touring company. But I was good, and I was sitting in my dressing room taking off all of my makeup when suddenly an old man opened the door to my dressing room, walked in without so much as a sorry to bother you, and started puttering around the makeup table, cleaning things up there. Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you getting ready in here?
Well, I just finished performing, but this is a private dressing room. Did you not see the star on the door?
I did see that star on the door. I just had to get a look at you.
Look at me. Well, I'm sorry, but if you want an autograph, there's a line that forms outside the stage door, and in 3.5 hours, I go out there.
Wow, you really are my son, aren't you?
What
Yes,
did you say?
I recognized your last name, Jones. And I heard that you were some wunderkind, coming up from a small town. And I recognized that town's name, and I recognized your last name. You're the son of Joni Jones, aren't you?
That's my mama name, Joni Jones.
I had a relationship with that woman. And I didn't know that I had a son and that I had impregnated her. But I came to your show a couple of nights ago. You know, I'm a big time theater guy, and I could tell when I saw you up there, I thought there might be some resemblance to her, and then I had to come in and see if there was resemblance to me.
And suddenly I remembered that promise that I had made to my mama that I had forgotten about. I suppose somewhere, maybe not even so deep down, I knew what I was supposed to do. And maybe I'd just allowed the notes of that never-ending song to play louder so I didn't have to think about it. How how come you never came and said hello to me?
I'm scared. I was never ready to be a dad.
Mama said you were a big actor.
I am. You see, I had the lead role in Cats for 15 years.
Mama said you had the longest tail.
I did. And you know, my tail is just as long. I've been in many shows. I made a lot of money. I became a producer, a director, and an actor. But none of it ever made me happy.
Seems like you wanted to be anything but my daddy.
I never even knew you existed until a couple of days ago.
Well, then it seems like you wanted to be anything but my mama's husband.
I was scared then, too. She was an incredibly beautiful woman, and she made the tastiest sausages I'd ever had. And I thought there was a moment that night, those 5 nights that we spent together while I was there, there was a moment where I looked at her on her pillow and thought I could wake up in this bed every day of my life. And that scared me. That scared me, young man.
And then he reached into his pocket and he pulled out a bull ring.
You see, she gave me this. I was playing a punk cat at the time. She gave it to me to wear in that show, and I was supposed to bring it back that last night. But I didn't. I left right after the show. I didn't even stop to give my bow. I just left. I ran all the way back up to New York City, and I left her behind, and I never looked her up again. But here, take this bull ring.
I took the bull ring from him. And yeah, it was disgusting because he had it in his nose. But this was the first thing that my pa ever gave me. This was the first thing that I ever understood to belong to my pa. And I started thinking about what a bull ring does. You see, you put a bull ring in the nose of a bull so that if the bull ever starts to act up, well, then you can just pull on the ring, see, and that hurts the bull so much that the bull becomes tame. Is that what Mama was trying to do to you? Tame you?
Yes, I'm sure. But I can't be tamed. I'm a wild man. I have a string of failed relationships with younger women. And the truth is, I went back down to Hudson Falls several months ago. I was supposed to be in a production of Hello Dolly with my girlfriend. But once I got down there, I had been thinking I would look up your mama. But I got scared. I didn't want to be tame. I want to be wild and free. I want to be a young man again. And so I made up an excuse about having diarrhea and I left.
Wait a minute now. Your girlfriend? Is your girlfriend Felicity?
She was, yes.
I know her. She made me promise to help her find you.
Well, I don't want anything to do with her. You know, she's not good enough for me. I need someone younger and prettier, and I can't be tied down. I told her that. I can't be tamed. I need to be free.
Now hang on one moment. Now just hang on one moment. I don't even know what to call you. What? I can't call you Papa.
Call me Jimmy.
Now listen, Jimmy. You and me both. We both have something in common. We both started listening to that never-ending song one day, and like a rat following the Pied Piper, we just followed that music, and we didn't even realize how big a lake we were being led into. I mean, you and I have both trod the boards and played different roles. Don't you don't you get tired after a while of covering up who you really are and living your life as a fiction?
Yes, I do. You're right. Well, I guess I better come to terms with the fact that I'm aging.
Wait a minute. Do you love Felicity?
Yes, I do.
Then come back. Come back with me and tell her you love her. Take off the grease paint and let her see the real heart and soul beneath the costume and the mask.
But I've been terrible. Would she ever take me back? I held a lot of weight in this industry and I didn't let her. Oh God, I've been awful. I'm a bad man, Peppermint.
Jimmy, Felicity loves you. She's put her entire career on hold. She's allowed her entire career to fall into the gutter because she can't have you.
Okay, will you go with me and help me as a friend? As my son?
Suddenly, as I was trying to hear the strains of the music of the never-ending song, I couldn't hear it anymore. I looked at myself in the mirror. I was a ridiculous, pathetic image of a 23-year-old boy pretending to be an 88-year-old king. I had half a bald wig on my head. I had smeared grease paint that I had started to take off but stopped when Jimmy walked in. I looked like some strange parody of a human being rather than a real person. So I took off the rest of my makeup and my wig, and I looked at Jimmy. I put that bull ring in my pocket, and the two of us left that theater. And we went to where I knew not Valerie. Valerie was that girl, but that's a whole other story. I took Jimmy to where I knew Felicity would be waiting. And when we arrived, I saw a look in Felicity's eyes that I hadn't seen yet. Gone was the starry-eyed reflection from the footlights, and instead, the clear ray of sunlight that emanates from a soul in love.
Jimmy, what are you doing here with Peppermint? Felicity, first of all, let me say, I'm very sorry for leaving you and abandoning you. I got scared. The truth is, I love you so much, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And I got caught up in the rat race of theater, and I thought I couldn't be tamed, but as it turns out, I'm there. You've tamed me long ago. You tamed my wild heart, and I love you, and I'm so sorry for everything that I've done to you. Will you please take me back? Yes, I will. What does Peppermint have to do with this? Well, here comes the big news. Peppermint is my son.
That means, Felicity, if you two get married, you could be like my mama.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, this is incredible. Jimmy, I love you so much. We should all do a show or something together now.
But that's when I realized that I would never do a show again. Felicity,
Yeah.
Jimmy, I'm quitting show business.
What? But you're so famous, so successful, so handsome.
I know, but don't you understand? You see this bull ring? This bull ring is a symbol of being trapped somewhere, of having to stay somewhere and having to behave, not because you want to be there, but because someone is pulling on the soft, fleshy tissues of your nose. And that's what I realized that never-ending song has been to me. It's been a bull ring allowing me to have my face wrenched away from the things I didn't want to look at.
Are you going to go back home to your mama?
Yeah, I am, but not because this bull ring is pulling me there, because that's where I want to be.
Tell her I say hi and that I'm sorry. Bring her back the bull ring.
And so I made my farewells to Jimmy, Pa, and Felicity. The two of them did get married, and as a matter of fact, they're living a happy life even to this day. Well, I realized I had a lot to apologize for to a lot of people, but most of all, my mama. So I went back home, and there she was in the kitchen. And guess what she was doing? She was cooking up a storm.
Peppermint?
Mama, I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for, honey?
I guess I was afraid to find out anything about my papa, and so I let a bull ring pull my face towards the never-ending song. Mama, what I was talking about.
That's a familiar story.
Mama, you remember this bull ring?
Yes.
I met him, Mama. I met him. And he gave me this.
Oh, the bull ring. That belonged to my pa and his pa and his bowl.
Mama, Papa ain't coming back. He doesn't love you. He loves another woman named Felicity.
That's all right by me, Peppermint. Look, I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't really like being in a committed relationship. You see, I like to date around a lot, and I have various flings going on with various neighbors. I'm dating a very nice skunk skinner right now.
Mama, I had no idea you'd always pretended to be such a statue of probity and moral behavior.
Well, I don't think that those two things are mutually exclusive. And they're not.
And suddenly, I saw beneath a mask that my mama had been wearing all of these years and discovered something about her true self. And I guess that was the lesson learned. I gave Mama back that bull ring. Are you going to save it or throw it away, Mama?
I'm going to save it. But it'll probably just go to use somewhere in the barn.
Well, speaking of the barn, I left Mama in the kitchen cooking up dinner and I went out there. It smelled good in the barn. I missed that smell. And you know what I found? The barn, well, it had a music of its own. It had a song that I loved ever since I was a child that I had just forgotten about because the theater song maybe was a little bit louder and had more bassoons. but I loved my farm song. And I loved life on my farm. And I now knew that sometimes you put something on to cover up something that you're afraid might get hurt. But the only way to hear the true song, the song that you really ought to be following, is to take off all of those wigs and makeup and costumes and just sit still underneath a beautiful country sky with the stars shining like gems on a piece of black cloth and listen, just listen. The end. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. Valerie, Regalia. On the count of three, Valerie, let's take a big bow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all so much. Ladies and gentlemen, a few brief announcements, and then we will all go and have an awesome Thursday evening. First of all, thank you for watching. We're back here tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. Valerie Regalia will take the helm, and she will present the show that she conceived and directed for us called The Mating Game, a really wonderful, fun show in the style of the old 1960s television show, The Dating Game. But this is not just a game show. This is a really wonderful play that's fully improvised and explores dating and love in the modern era. So come on back tomorrow and watch Valerie as she leads us through The Mating Game. If you would like to take classes with Synergy Theater and learn how to improvise, we'd love for you to do that. Go to synergytheater.com, click on our class page, find out all about it. If you click on our online performance page, you can see the full line of shows coming up. I hope you'll come back. And if you are so inclined, click on that Support Synergy Theater, and any type of small donation you can make to us tonight will go a long way towards allowing us to continue bringing you these free online improvised plays. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Please stay safe. Synergy Theater loves you. Good night.